I thought I knew what love looked like. 3 years with Sarah in our Seattle apartment planning a spring wedding building, what I believed was a future together. But her best friend Marcus had other ideas about what I really was. The night she changed the locks and disappeared, I sat alone in our apartment staring at the ring I had bought her, wondering where everything went wrong. What I did next changed everything. Before I tell you how this unfolded, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below. And if you are curious how a single spreadsheet brought someone to their knees, hit that subscribe button. You will not want to miss what happened next. Let me take you back to where it all started. I met Sarah 3 years ago at a coffee shop in downtown Seattle. She was sketching something in her notebook, and I was working on my laptop between meetings. We started talking about design and technology, and before I knew it, 3 hours had passed. She was a freelance graphic designer with this infectious energy about her work. I was a software engineer at a tech startup stable job, good income. We clicked immediately. Within 6 months, we moved into a 2-bedroom apartment together. The rent was $2,400 a month, which was pretty standard for downtown Seattle. My salary was $95,000 a year, while Sarah's freelance income fluctuated between $1,500 and $3,000 monthly, depending on her client load. Naturally, I started covering the rent. It just made sense at the time. I made more, and I wanted her to focus on building her design portfolio without stressing about money. Sarah made our apartment feel like home. She picked out furniture, cooked amazing dinners, and filled the space with plants and artwork. I covered the utilities, which averaged around $250 monthly, plus groceries that ran about $600. She contributed in other ways, I told myself. The emotional labor, the care she put into our life together. That had value too. 8 months ago, I proposed to her at Pike Place Market. It was one of those perfect Seattle evenings when the sun breaks through the clouds and everything feels magical. She said yes, tears streaming down her face, and we started planning our wedding immediately. We put down a $5,000 deposit on a venue. Sarah was excited about every detail from the flowers to the table settings. I loved seeing her happy. That is when Marcus became more present in our lives. Marcus was Sarah's best friend from college. He worked in marketing somewhere downtown. I had met him a few times early in our relationship, and he seemed fine. A bit opinionated maybe, but everyone needs friends. I was not the jealous type. Jealous. But over those months, Marcus started coming around more often. Just dropping by became twice a week. Then I noticed he was always there when I worked late, which was happening more frequently as my team pushed toward a major product launch. Sarah would mention casually that Marcus had stopped by for coffee or they had grabbed lunch together. I did not think much of it initially. Then his comments started. Small things at first. You work a lot, do you not? Sarah mentioned she feels lonely sometimes. I brushed them off. Sarah and I talked every night. She never said she was lonely, at least not to me. One evening, Marcus joined us for dinner at our apartment. I had cooked pasta, opened a nice bottle of wine, trying to be welcoming. But Marcus kept steering the conversation toward work-life balance. Corporate jobs drain your soul, man. Sarah's creative spirit needs freedom. He said it looking right at me like I was somehow holding her back. I laughed it off, uncomfortable but not wanting to create tension. Sarah seemed oblivious to the undertone, or maybe I was reading too much into it. I trusted Sarah completely. That trust was absolute. A month before everything fell apart, I hit a critical deadline at work. My team was launching a new software feature, and as the lead engineer, I had to put in serious hours. 4 nights straight, I came home after 11 at night, exhausted. On the 5th morning, a Thursday, I found Sarah cold and distant at breakfast. The next morning, we had our first real fight. She said I was never present anymore, that I cared more about work than her. I tried explaining that this project meant a potential promotion, that it was temporary, that I was doing this for us for the wedding, for our future. She looked at me with this strange expression and said, maybe that is the problem. Everything is about the future. What about now? Her words stung, but I wanted to fix things. That weekend, I planned a getaway to the San Juan Islands. 2 nights at a bed and breakfast ferry rides, romantic dinners overlooking the water. It cost me $800, but seeing Sarah smile again felt worth every penny. The weekend seemed to reset us. She laughed, held my hand, took photos of the sunset. I thought we were okay. But I noticed something during our romantic dinner on Saturday night. Sarah kept checking her phone, texting someone. When I gently asked who she was talking to, she said Marcus was just checking in. He is my friend Avery. Do not be controlling. That word controlling hit me like ice water. I dropped the subject immediately. Maybe I was being too sensitive. Maybe I was imagining problems that were not there. The month after that trip, things got worse. Sarah became increasingly distant. She spent more time out of the apartment. Girls' night out became Marcus. And I are getting coffee. I tried harder. I brought home flowers, cooked her favorite meals, suggested maybe we could try couples therapy to work through whatever was happening between us. She looked at me like I had suggested something absurd. I do not need therapy. I need space. Space meant sleeping in the spare bedroom. Space meant barely speaking to me beyond logistical conversations about groceries or bills. I was confused and hurt. What had I done wrong? I replayed our relationship in my mind, constantly searching for the moment I had become the villain in her story. I checked our bank statements one evening, not out of suspicion, but out of a need to feel some sense of control over something. I was still paying for everything. Rent her car insurance at $180 monthly, her phone bill at $90 groceries utilities. Everything. Meanwhile, Sarah's freelance work had dried up. Creative block, she told me when I asked. Marcus says I am under too much pressure. Marcus says. Those two words were appearing more and more in her vocabulary. I tried to help. Do you need help finding more clients? I can connect you with some people at my company who might need design work? She snapped at me. Stop trying to fix everything. I did not know what to do anymore. Every attempt to help felt like I was making things worse. Every conversation turned into an argument or cold silence. I felt like I was living with a stranger who looked like the woman I loved, but had become someone I did not recognize. Then on a Tuesday evening, I received a text message from Marcus. I had never gotten a text from him before. We were not friends. We barely knew each other beyond surface-level pleasantries. But there it was, a long message that I read 3 times trying to understand if it was real. The text said he had watched Sarah suffer for months, that I was toxic, that I did not see it but I was controlling, that I used money to manipulate her, that I made her feel small, that she was scared to leave because she depended on me financially, that this was not love, this was imprisonment. I sat on our couch, phone in hand, feeling like the floor had disappeared beneath me. Every accusation felt backward, inverted. I had never held money over her head. I had never stopped her from doing anything. I had supported every dream, every idea, every plan she had ever mentioned. How was that control? How was that toxic? I tried calling Sarah. Voicemail. I texted her a screenshot of Marcus's message. Can we talk about this? She replied hours later. Marcus is right. I have been thinking the same things. I just could not say it. My world tilted sideways. What things? When did I control you? When did I make you feel small? I typed frantically, desperate for clarity. Her response was cold. You would not understand. You never do. That night, I did not sleep. I lay in bed replaying 3 years of memories, searching for evidence of toxicity, of control, of anything that matched what they were saying about me. I found love. I found sacrifice. I found support. But looking at it through this new lens they had created, I started wondering if I had been blind to my own behavior. Was I the monster in this story and too self-absorbed to see it? Friday evening changed everything. I came home from work at 6 o'clock, tired from another long day, but hoping maybe Sarah and I could finally talk through whatever was happening. Instead, I found her in our bedroom packing suitcases. My heart dropped into my stomach. What is happening? I asked, though part of me already knew. Sarah looked at me with an expression I had never seen before. Calm, rehearsed, resolved. I need to clear my head. I cannot think straight here. Marcus offered me his spare room. Marcus's spare room? The words felt surreal. You are leaving me to stay with him. She became defensive immediately. It is not like that. He is my friend. He understands me. I felt panic rising. I am your fiancé. We are supposed to work through this together. She shook her head. You do not get it. This relationship is suffocating me. I need time away from you. We argued for an hour. I begged for clarity, for couples counseling, for anything that did not involve her leaving. She remained firm. I have made up my mind, Avery. There is nothing you can say. By 9 o'clock, Marcus showed up with his truck. He would not look at me, just helped Sarah carry boxes and suitcases to his vehicle. I stood in our living room watching the woman I loved walk away with another man feeling helpless and hollow. The last image I have of that night is Sarah handing me back her apartment key. I will get my other things next week. Do not contact me. I will reach out when I am ready. Then she was gone. The door closed. Silence filled the apartment like a physical presence. The next morning I discovered she had changed the locks. My key did not work. I texted her. Blocked. I called. Straight to voicemail. I checked social media against my better judgment. Sarah had posted a photo from Marcus's apartment with the caption, "Finally breathing again." The comments from mutual friends poured in. "You deserve happiness. Proud of you for choosing yourself. Good for you." I sat in our half-empty apartment furniture, missing her presence, erased, unable to process how I had become the villain so quickly and so completely in everyone's eyes. I spent that weekend alone in the apartment, moving through stages of grief that felt endless. Saturday, I barely left the couch. Sunday, I cleaned obsessively, trying to scrub away the feeling of failure that clung to everything. But by Monday morning, something shifted. The grief hardened into something clearer, something that demanded truth. I opened my laptop and started a spreadsheet. I downloaded 3 years of bank statements, credit card bills, payment confirmations. Line by line, I built a complete picture of our financial relationship. Not out of anger, but out of a need to see reality reflected back at me in undeniable numbers. Rent, $2,400 monthly for 36 months, total $86,400. Sarah's contribution, $0. Utilities averaging $250 monthly over 3 years, $9,000. Groceries at $600 monthly, $21,600. Her car insurance $180 monthly, $6,480. Her phone bill line 90 monthly, $3,240. I kept going. Vacations we had taken: San Juan Islands, $800, Hawaii last year, $2,500, Napa Valley for her birthday, $1,200. Various weekend trips totaling around $3,000. Date nights and restaurants being conservative around $300 monthly for 36 months, $10,800. Medical bills I had covered when she had no health insurance for 6 months, $2,400. Our wedding venue deposit, $5,000. 6 months of her student loan payments when she struggled, $1,800. Furniture for the apartment that she had picked out, and I had purchased, $4,200. Birthday gifts, holiday presents over 3 years, $2,800. The laptop I bought her when hers died, $1,400. I sat back and stared at the total. $162,220. Over 3 years, I had contributed this amount to support the life we had built together. Not because she asked, not because I wanted to hold it over her, but because I loved her and wanted to build a future together. I was not controlling, I was supporting. There is a difference. Tuesday morning, I made a decision. I created a professional-looking invoice. Statement of financial contributions. Sarah Jenkins. I listed every category with receipts attached, PDFs of bank statements, and credit card bills providing documentation for every claim. Subtotal $162,220. At the bottom, I added a note. Since you and Marcus believe she deserves better, and you are so committed to her well-being, I am transferring her financial responsibility to you. She has been under your care and influence for the past month. This represents the cost of her lifestyle for the previous 3 years. As her new support system, I trust you will manage these expenses going forward. Consider this her bill. Payment plans available upon request. Signed, Avery. I attached the detailed spreadsheet with formulas and color-coded categories. Everything was accurate, verifiable, and undeniable. Then I found Marcus's work email through LinkedIn, located his personal email through mutual connections, and got his phone number from an old group text. I sent the invoice via email to both addresses and texted the PDF to his phone at 9:47 on Tuesday morning. Then I pressed send and leaned back in my chair. I felt a strange calm wash over me. No anger, no bitterness, just clarity. Let us see how supportive he really is when support comes with a price tag. Within 2 hours, Marcus called 7 times. I did not answer. The voicemails grew increasingly frantic. The first one? What the hell is this? By the third. You are insane. This is petty. The seventh message, his voice cracking. You cannot just send fake invoices. This is not how things work. His text messages flooded in. This is harassment, I am reporting you. You are proving Sarah right about being toxic. I read them all calmly, then replied once. Every line item is documented and accurate. She is your responsibility now, not mine. Good luck. Then I blocked Marcus completely. That night, a mutual friend called me. What did you do? Marcus is losing his mind. He is calling everyone saying you sent him some crazy bill. I explained calmly. I sent him a factual accounting of what it cost to support Sarah for 3 years. If truth upsets him, that is quite telling, is it not? My friend paused. Sarah is furious. She is telling everyone you are trying to humiliate her. I felt nothing but tired peace. She made her choice. Actions have consequences. I have no interest in humiliating anyone. I am just done being painted as the villain for loving someone. The first week after sending the invoice passed quietly. I focused on myself for the first time in months. I went to the gym every morning before work. I reconnected with friends I had neglected. I threw myself into my job and actually enjoyed it again, without the weight of relationship stress crushing me. Week 2 started normally. Wednesday afternoon, my phone rang from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Marcus's voice came through, but it sounded different. Defeated? Small. Avery, we need to talk. I almost hung up immediately. No, we do not, I said. Please, just listen. I made a mistake. Something in his tone made me stay on the line. I did not speak, just listened. Marcus started explaining, words tumbling out in a rush. He said Sarah had assumed living with him would be temporary and free, like crashing with a friend. He had assumed Sarah would quickly get a job and start contributing to expenses. Reality had been very different. The first week they went grocery shopping together. Sarah filled the cart with expensive items, organic produce, name brand everything. The bill came to $200. Marcus commented that maybe they should budget better, be more conscious of costs. Sarah looked at him confused. Avery never made me budget, she said. Marcus's utilities increased with an extra person in his apartment. The water bill, the electricity, the heat. Small costs that added up. Sarah wanted to eat out frequently. That is what we are used to, she told him when he suggested cooking at home more often. But Marcus could not afford $300 monthly on restaurants, not on top of everything else. They started arguing about money daily. Sarah complained that she thought Marcus understood her, that he had said she deserved better. Marcus was realizing that better had meant financially, and he could not match what I had provided. The invoice haunted him, he admitted. Seeing that number broken down, I did not realize how much you actually did. How much you actually gave without asking for anything back. Then came the part that almost made me laugh. Sarah expected Marcus to cover everything like I had done. But when he could not, when he asked her to get a job or at least apply for freelance work, she accused him of not supporting her creative process. She said he was becoming just like me, controlling, toxic. Marcus's voice cracked. I cannot do this, Avery. I thought I was helping her escape something bad, but now I see I was helping her escape responsibility. She does not want a partner. She wants a provider who asks nothing in return. Can you take her back? I will talk to her. I will tell her I was wrong about everything. I sat in silence for a long moment. The old version of me might have considered it. The version that wanted to fix everything, that believed love meant endless second chances. But that version died the night she walked out. No, I said simply. Marcus seemed shocked. What? No. She made her choice. You made yours. Now both of you have to live with the consequences. I am not a safety net. I am not a backup plan. I am done. I hung up before he could respond. 3 days later, I received a text from a number I did not recognize. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. Avery, I am sorry. I made a mistake. Can we talk? It was Sarah. She had gotten a new number to reach me. I stared at the message for a full minute before replying. There is nothing to talk about. Her response came quickly desperate. I was confused. Marcus helped me see things that were not real. He twisted everything. I miss you. I miss us. Can I please come home? The audacity of it stunned me. You did not miss me 2 weeks ago when you posted about finally breathing again. You did not miss me when you changed the locks. You did not miss me when you blocked my number and let everyone believe I was some kind of monster. Sarah tried again. I was wrong, please. I want to come home. I will do better. We can go to therapy like you wanted. I will do whatever it takes. I took my time crafting a response, making sure every word reflected exactly what I needed to say. Sarah, I loved you. I would have done anything for you. I gave you 3 years of my life, my home, my support, my future, but you let someone poison your view of me. You chose to believe I was toxic instead of talking to me directly about any concerns. You changed the locks on our home. You blocked me. You made me the villain in your story when all I ever did was love you and support your dreams. I cannot be with someone who sees support as control, who sees sacrifice as manipulation. You needed space to clear your head. Consider it permanent. I am giving you all the space you could ever want. She did not respond after that. I heard through mutual friends that Sarah tried calling me multiple times from different numbers, but I blocked each one. She sent messages through friends asking if I would reconsider. I told them all the same thing. That chapter of my life is closed. I wish her well, but I am moving forward. Months have passed since everything fell apart. Time has a way of bringing clarity that acute pain obscures. I healed gradually, not in a straight line, but in slow steps forward. Some days were harder than others. Some nights I still thought about the good times, the laughter, the plans we made. But I never regretted my decision. I realized something important in those months of healing. Sometimes people do not value what they have until it is gone. And sometimes even then they do not value it. They just value the comfort it provided. The invoice was never really about the money. Money can be earned back. Time cannot. Trust cannot. The invoice was about showing value in a language that could not be argued with or twisted. Numbers do not lie. Receipts do not gaslight. I heard through the network of mutual friends that Marcus and Sarah lasted another month before she moved back to her parents' house in Oregon. They blamed each other for how everything turned out. Marcus told people Sarah was ungrateful and entitled. Sarah told people Marcus had manipulated her and was not the friend she thought he was. Neither of them took responsibility for their own choices. I felt no bitterness toward either of them anymore. Bitterness requires energy, and I was investing mine elsewhere. I hope Sarah finds whatever she is looking for. I told a friend who asked if I had any message for her. I genuinely mean that, but I also hope she learns that relationships require partnership, not just taking. My career moved forward. The promotion I had been working toward when everything fell apart came through. With it came a significant raise and more responsibility. I moved out of the apartment Sarah and I had shared, found a smaller one-bedroom place that was mine alone. No shared memories, no ghosts in the corners, just a fresh start. I started dating again cautiously at first. This time I approached relationships differently. I communicated clearly about expectations. I watched for red flags. I valued mutual contribution, emotional and financial. I learned that healthy love is not about keeping score, but it is also not about one person carrying everything while the other coasts along taking credit for the relationship's success. One evening, about 6 months after everything ended, I sat on my new couch in my new apartment, drinking coffee and watching the Seattle skyline through my window. My phone buzzed with a text from a woman I had been seeing for a few weeks. She was funny, independent, had her own career and her own life. She contributed to our dates, insisted on splitting checks, valued her autonomy and mine. The text said she had tickets to a concert if I wanted to go. No expectations, no games. Just a simple invitation. I smiled and texted back that I would love to. Then I set my phone down and thought about how far I had come. Love is not about keeping score. It never should be. But love is also not about being taken for granted, about sacrificing yourself until there is nothing left, about accepting being called toxic for the crime of caring too much. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone go and let them face the consequences of their choices. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is recognize your worth and refuse to accept anything less than mutual respect and effort. I do not regret sending that invoice. It was not petty. It was not cruel. It was a mirror held up to reality, showing the true cost of what had been built and what had been thrown away. What I regret is that it took me 3 years and $162,000 to learn my worth. But I learned it, and that lesson, painful as it was, became the foundation for everything that came after. I learned that I deserve someone who sees my support as love, not control. Someone who values partnership, not provision. Someone who stays during the hard conversations instead of running to someone whispering poison in their ear. I learned that closure does not always come from the other person. Sometimes you create it yourself by walking away and refusing to look back. The story of Sarah and Marcus became a cautionary tale among our mutual friends. Some people thought I was harsh. Others thought I was justified. I stopped caring about either opinion. The only opinion that mattered was my own, and I knew I had handled it with more grace than I had been given. So if there is a lesson in all of this, it is simple. Know your worth. Set your boundaries. Do not let anyone rewrite your story to make themselves the hero and you the villain. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Do not wait for a second chance they will only use to hurt you again. I am grateful for the experience now, as strange as that sounds. It taught me what I will not accept in the future. It showed me my own strength. It proved I could survive heartbreak and come out stronger. And it reminded me that sometimes the best revenge is not revenge at all. It is living well, moving forward, and building a life that does not include people who do not value you. So, to anyone watching this who has been called toxic for setting boundaries, for having standards, for refusing to be taken for granted, let me tell you something. You are not crazy. You are not wrong. You deserve better. And sometimes better means walking away from people who will never appreciate what you offered. Have you ever been in a situation where supporting someone was mistaken for controlling them? Or maybe you have had a friend who poisoned a relationship from the outside? I would love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about relationships, boundaries, and finding your worth. Share this with someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it helps someone out there realize they deserve respect, partnership, and genuine love. Take care of yourselves, and remember, knowing your worth is not toxic. It is necessary.